Hey DDP2, hope everybody's good. Today we're going to start our next short project, creating a three-dimensional dodecahedron, a 12-sided object. This is going to be such a cool project. Five-sided shapes joined together. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a pentagon first. So I wanted to be creative and come up with doing this without any measuring tools. So it took me about 2.5 hours. If you were to draw a pentagon with compasses and measuring tools, it's not a big deal. It's very easy actually. So I came up with a way to do this with 2 pieces of paper. I used, hang on one second. I used a spice cap. So this is just a cap off of a spice bottle. And then I have 2 pieces of printer paper. Let's get to the drawing. Let's have fun with this. So this should be pretty cool. This is going to be awesome. I spent about 2 hours today figuring this out. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 2 pieces of paper. I use, for my circle, is a spice cap, just a cap off of a spice bottle. You want something, because we're going to be doing a pattern with this pentagon that we draw, you're going to want something that's not too big, something that can fit on this piece of paper 6 times. So there's going to be a pentagon in the middle, then there's going to be 5 pentagons attached to that middle pentagon. So try to get something that will fit on a piece of paper like this, which is, I think this is a pretty good size. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this cap and do it as perfect as you can. So if we were using tools, we could get this thing absolutely perfect, but since we're using household items and just measuring with pieces of paper, try to be as perfect as possible. I'm going to show you guys how to draw, or how to find the center of the circle, okay, when we don't know where the center is. So I tried this before and it didn't record, so I'm just using my marks from before. So what I did is I drew a line that intersected the edges of the circle. This is called a chord. Okay, so the chord is a line, a straight line, that intersects with 2 points on the edge of a circle. And what I did at those 2 points is I put these 2 marks, right, where that line intersects with the edge of the circle. And what I did is I take this piece of paper out and I folded so the lines, the marks were exactly on top of each other, put a crease to find the center point, and then put this back down and marked where the center of that chord is. So there's the center of the first chord. Okay, my next step is to do a second chord. So this has to be another line. It could intersect anywhere on the edge of the circle. I don't know how big these are. All I'm doing is drawing a line and marking on this piece of paper. So I draw a line, then I mark on the piece of paper where that line intersects with the edge of the circle. So I'm going to pick the piece of paper up, I'm going to connect those 2 marks by folding it, crease it, and now I have the center of that chord. So I need at least 2 chords with the center points marked in order to find the center of the circle. The next step is to take a 90-degree angle. So you could just take the edge of your piece of paper, you're going to take a 90-degree angle, and we're going to draw 2 90-degree lines, one coming off of each center point. Make sure you line them up the best you can. Right, this comes off that center point, and then this one comes off this center point, and where they meet is going to be the center of your circle. Now you could do this an infinite number of times with different chords coming around here, and they're all going to meet right in the center of the circle. So that's how I find the center of the circle. What I need to do now is I need a vertical line and a horizontal line cutting through the midpoint of this circle. So here's what I'm going to do. Now I know the middle point. I'm going to extend this line that I made. This is going to be my vertical line coming down through my circle, and then I'm going to put a horizontal line off of this vertical line. So here's my vertical line. I'm going to put a horizontal line like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my square piece of paper corner here, line it up with that to the center point, and I'm going to come off to the left, then I'm going to move the piece of paper over and extend it off to the right. So I'll say it for the millionth time, we're doing this without tools, so this is not perfect, but I think it's pretty much as perfect as we can get it without using tools. So we have a vertical line, and now we have a horizontal line, and they meet in the middle at 490-degree angles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to erase all these lines that I used as chords to find the center point of this circle, just so we don't get confused with these. Okay, so what I did was I created a circle, and I created a vertical line and a horizontal line cutting through the center of that circle. Okay, so now it's time to draw our pentagon. We have a vertical line and a horizontal line cutting through the midpoint of our circle. This is as good as we can get, I think, without tools. So drawing a pentagon with a compass is extremely easy at this point. We're going to pretend that we're going to kind of use our piece of paper here as a compass. So we're going to be measuring distances, and then we're going to be transferring those distances somewhere else. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the radius of this circle. So I'm going to go from the tip of my piece of paper here to the center point, okay? And this is my radius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this radius from the vertical line to the horizontal line, like so. And then I'm going to pretend that this is a compass, and I'm going to rotate it so it rotates out and hits the edge of the circle. And where it hits the edge of the circle, I'm going to put a mark. Okay, so I did this. I transferred the radius to the horizontal line, and I put a mark on the edge of the circle. Next step is to do the same thing down below here. So from the horizontal line, transfer that length of the radius to the edge of the circle, to right there. So I created 2 points, right there and there, and the distance between there and there is the radius of this circle. And then I'm going to take my other piece of paper, my straight edge, and I'm going to connect those 2 points. And you should have a line that is parallel with your original vertical line, like that. Okay, so you should be at this point. This might take you a couple of tries. Like I said, this took me about 2 hours to figure out how to do this and get it so it actually worked out. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure from this point, right here, up to where it meets the vertical line intersecting with the circle. So from this point to that point. So I'm going to take my piece of paper again, and I'm going to measure from there to there. I'm going to put a mark. Okay, put a little star right here. And then what I'm going to do is I want to pretend this is a compass again, and I'm going to rotate this down. So here's my arc coming. This point stays fixed, and it's going to rotate down to where it hits the horizontal line over here. And I'm going to put a mark over here on the horizontal line. Okay, it might look like these are the two same distances, but they're not. Okay, this distance right here, okay, is determining this arc that comes down and draws this part right here. Okay, so here's where we are. I took this distance and I measured it with my edge of the piece of paper, and then I transferred that distance from there to there. My next step is to measure the distance from where the vertical line hits the edge of the circle to this mark that I made over on the left hand side. So I'm going to carefully place my paper at that mark and at the edge of the circle. I'm going to give myself a mark there, and I'm going to point. This is the measurement that we're going to use to get all the points of our pentagon. So as if this was a compass, this point right here is going to stay fixed up top of the circle here, and we're going to rotate this out until it hits the edge of the circle. So we come to right there, and we're going to mark that spot right there. If this was a compass, we'd have a slight arc like that. What we're going to do now is we're going to use this distance to travel around the edge of the circle. So as we travel around the edge of the circle, here's our second point. Down here. Here is our third point over here. Here is our fourth point over here. And then our fifth point lands at the top of the circle where the vertical line intersects. Okay, so once you have those points, you're going to take a piece of paper. I folded mine in half so I have a nice straight edge, and you're going to connect, and I already did this, but the camera didn't record it correctly. You're going to connect all the points that we drew around the edge, and you will have your pentagon. And if you want to check that it is indeed a pentagon, you can take a mark that side length, and then double check all the other sides, and they should all be the exact same length if it's a pentagon. Alright, so hopefully you have your pentagon drawn. Alright, so it should look like that. Okay, you're going to keep this. Make sure you keep this. And I know this is probably the coolest thing you've ever done. I started doing this at 9 o'clock this morning. It took me about 2+ hours to figure out a method to draw this pentagon without any measuring and without any compasses. And now it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just finished editing this video with all this filming, and the GoPro didn't want to work correctly. But anyway, we're going to make a tetrahedron out of these. So what we need to do is we need to keep this. So make sure you hang on to this, and maybe on Friday or Monday, depending upon where all you guys are at, we will start making the pattern of the tetrahedron with these. It's going to be pretty cool. So anyway, take care, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see ya. Bye.